Welcome to my craft table. Hello, this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. These are all punches, and then there's a little bit of embossing. This is a die cut star from Magnolia. Let's get started. I'll show you what we're going to need. Okay. I'm going to start by, we're going to be using the dies, Magnolia Memories dies. We're just going to use this little, I think it's meant to be a flower center. This piece right here. I'm going to use that for the star on the top of the tree. I'm using some wrapped in plaid paper, the 8x8. I'm using this piece design here. I have a scrap of Whisper White to stamp on. I have a little strip of gold foil paper. It's like 1/8 of an inch. I have a 1/4 inch by 5.5 inch strip of Night of Navy. This is to cut this out with, a little scrap of the foil paper. I have a 3 by 5.5 inch piece of Whisper White, a 5.5 by 4.25 inch piece of Night of Navy, and a card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5 scored and folded at 4.25. Okay, we're going to be using the plaid tree and the Merry Christmas from Perfectly Plaid. I have a balmy blue ink pad, an old olive ink pad, Versamark, and the pine tree punch and gold embossing powder and the stuff to go with that. So why don't we do the die cutting and get that done and out of the way. So the first thing I need to do is bring in my machine. Oops, wrong way. Has to go this way so I can crank it. Alright. And I have my Big Shot platform. Thin die adapter. You can use any die cutting machine you want. This is just happens to be the one I have. My paper, my die, another clear plate, and run it through. This is going to give me my star for the top of the tree. I think I also glued a little star sequin on top of it. Alright, pop that out. Okay, so there's the star for the top of our tree. Put this aside. Put this away so I don't lose it. Move the Big Shot. Okay. Now we're going to do our stamping. I'm going to bring in that Whisper White piece and the tree. We're going to stamp 1 tree in balmy blue and 2 in old olive. Light touch. 1 in balmy blue. Where's my cleanings thing? This one's not wet. Hang on just a second. I'm knocking things on the floor. Sorry about that. I have some things packed to go to a event, and my stamp chamois is one of them. Okay, the old olive. I want 2 of these. They look really dark, but they're not, they lighten up. Oops, that one didn't stamp well. Well, let's try it again. Okay. Alright, now let's bring in our punch, and we're going to punch out those trees. So, I don't know if you can see that. We're going to line it up. Punch. Line up the blue one. One more. Okay, and then I want one in the designer series paper, the plaid paper. So I'm going to bring that in. I want to make sure I get a little bit of the gold foil in it. So, which way do I want to do it? I think I'll do it right there. That looks good. Okay, so we're done with the punch. And we can start assembling our card. We're going to bring in our card base, and we're going to decide where our Night of Navy piece and the 3-inch piece of Whisper White. You want to make sure that our sentiment is going to fit down here at the bottom. So you want to stamp it as close as you can to the bottom with the Versamark ink. And you want it to be probably about an inch, inch and a half away from the edge. Perfect. There's my ink. I'm going to bring in my powder. And where did my coffee filter go? Ended up on the floor with everything else. Okay. I forgot to use the embossing buddy on it, but we can hope for the best. Oh, that's not bad at all. Okay, let's put this away. Alright, bring in my embossing tool. And I'm going to warm it up a little bit. While it's warming up, I'm going to sit on the bottom of the paper. Okay, then I'm going to bring it up to the top. There it goes. So it's changing it from a powdered form to a molten plastic form. Alright, awesome. Okay, now we're going to bring in our white layer. And Where'd my glue go? It fell too, must be. Really? Okay. All else fails. There it is. I was gonna say, when all else fails, get out a new one. Okay, let's glue this down. We're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch at the top for like a little blue stripe, if we have that much to leave. Okay. I'm going to bring in our trees. We're going to lay them out. One's going to go this way. One's going to go this way. This one goes here. This one goes here. Okay. So we want to lay them out so we can figure out what our spacing is. And this one's going to have a star on it. So let's bring in our dimensionals. I think I need a small dimensional for the back of this one. Let's go ahead and stick that on the back. Put that on the top of our tree. So we get, that's a good placement, I think. So maybe it needs to go over just a little bit. Alright, so we're going to figure that out. We're going to start with our edge tree here. Put a little bit of glue on the back. I'm going to bring in my tweezers because it's just a little bit easier to hold on to it so you can see what I'm doing. Lay that in place. Okay. This one's going to get dimensionals on it, so bring in the dimensionals. And here on the top, a couple here on the bottom. Okay, that looks good. Let's do the next one. Just glue. There's no right or wrong. I'm just kind of making a pattern like what you'd see on a knitted sweater. How they stagger them. If I had the cable knit sweater embossing folder, that might be fun to emboss this white piece with the embossing folder. I don't have that, so. Okay, then we're going to bring in our two little strips. I'm going to glue the blue one on. We want to leave about 1/4 of an inch at the bottom. A little more, a little less is fine. And we're going to glue this gold one right on top of that. Very little glue on this one because it is gold foil, and if it oozes out it gets on top and it's difficult to get off the foil. Comes off cardstock easy. Use marks on the foil. Okay, awesome. And this will get glued onto the front of our card. There you go. There's the card we just made together. There's the card I did previously. I'd like to thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day.